Hello everyone, this is Quaker from Next Gen Windows, bringing you a rumor roundup for Windows 9 Threshold. So far, we've seen plenty of leaks about this upcoming release of Windows, which is their ninth edition of Windows. Well, their ninth major edition that they call it of Windows. So far, we've seen a bunch of features coming up on it. Before I get into those features, I'll just be talking about a brief rundown of some things you'll know once you'll get to see once you get a hand on the preview version that's supposed to be coming up sometime in October. Please note that today is September 30th when Microsoft is supposed to be doing the small event for Enterprise, talking about the official release of Windows 9 Thresholds preview. So please note that today's September 30th and tomorrow is October 1st. So they say it's not going to come out in September. It's going to come out sometime in October. So that could be this week. It could be sometime next week or weeks after that in October. So keep that in mind. Now, one of the things that some people have found out is that there'll be a Windows Insider Preview program for people who want to be the first to know about preview versions of Windows. So basically, that'll allow you to download the latest bits very easily, unlike in the past where you'd had to do those updates and all that stuff. If you want the preview program, be part of the preview program, all you would do is simply navigate to the website, and then you could sign up with your Hotmail account or Live account or whatever they call it now, Outlook account. You could use that, and then you'll be able to get the preview bits of Windows. Another thing you can also get to realize that once you do download the preview version of Windows and you do finish installing it and things like that, there will be active notifications for feedback. So in the past, you've had to type in, you'd have to have gone to like somewhere here, or there was like a question mark somewhere that allowed you to send feedback, or you had to go to your charms and there was like a send feedback option somewhere. This time, there'll be active notifications telling you stuff about feedback. So, like right here in the corner, there'll be a notification that pops up. If you're familiar with Windows 8, how the notifications show up, there'll be an active notification that will pop up and say, were you successful in being able to rearrange your tiles, which are these things right here if you're not familiar with Windows 8. So they'll actively tell you that, and they'll actively aggregate all the feedback. That way they can work to make Windows a much better experience on the RTM version that everyone else will be getting. Another thing is the build, if you do decide to download it, will be roughly 4 gigabytes. It's roughly a pretty large size. This is, of course, a 64-bit version. I'm not sure how many people who still use a 32-bit version. But if you do use 32-bit, it will be less than 4 gigabyte download. The install will always be a lot more, but the download will be about 4 gigabyte. And so when you download it, you can expect to need probably, let's give a rough estimate of maybe like 12 gigabytes of of space left. You're going to need roughly 12 gigabytes of space to be able to actually finish installing it, because obviously it takes up quite a bit of space. Another thing you can also be guaranteed to know about is that it won't be available till October, sometime in October. And on top of that, when it does come out, the RTM version, when the RTM version does come out next year in 2015, whenever that's going to be, maybe it's going to be sometime near build, which is normally around June or May. You can expect that it'll be a free upgrade for current Windows 8.1 users. So if you're running Windows 8.1 right now and you have the latest version of it, you can expect to just simply hit an update option, and it'll automatically update you to Windows 9 Threshold. So that's a simple thing. I have a feeling that they're going to do something around the Windows Store to have you update, and it's going to be about the same process that you went through to get Windows 8.1 from Windows 8. So that'll be something that you can look forward to doing in the near future. On top of that, we're going to have some start menu changes. So as you can see here, the start menu is going to change up quite a bit. You're going to have a similar Windows 7 feel for the start menu, but at the same time, if you're familiar with Windows 8 and you like using the start screen, you're going to have that feel too. You can, however, delete all of these icons here, so you have just a classic Windows 7 style start menu. It won't look the same exactly, obviously, because this is what it looks like, but you'll be able to get rid of all the icons, all of the tiles if you don't like them. If you don't like Metro style applications, it'll have a sense of choice there, which you didn't have in the previous version, which is this one being Windows 8.1. Another thing you'll notice right here in this image is that there'll be a PC settings in the window, in the desktop. So right here, normally most people had to download third-party things to run Metro apps in the desktop. That won't be necessary anymore. You'll be able to run it right in the desktop. So it'll be really easy for you to use. So you can see here, you can run the settings right there in the desktop. You can see how other things work just like that. Let's see some more. But yeah, you can see the store right here is in the desktop. And then another thing is they are trying to get rid of the charms bar, and they're trying to figure out ways that they can replace the features that are currently in this charms bar. And one of the features that they brought in was having the charms bar functions work just by clicking this 3 dots right here, which brings up something looks like, says app commands. So you'll be able to just click search, share, whatever inside the app just by going to the top of it. Right now, Windows 8.1, when we go to the top, we don't have anything but this right here, which we're allowed to just right click and split left, split right, minimize, and close. But I have a feeling these options will show up too. The search, share, play, which is play to, print, project to another display, full screen, which will make it basically like a Metro style, how it was in Windows 8, and also settings. So all of those will fit the same way. Another thing they're going to have is something called Wi-Fi Sense. You can see Storage Sense right here, but Wi-Fi Sense is probably a little bit lower down in it, and it'll be under the PC settings on the Metro settings. And basically, what that will be is, if you're familiar with Windows Phone, Storage Sense allows you to manage your storage on your device, whether you're using a tablet, a regular desktop, PC, laptop, whatever you plan to use Windows on. You can manage your storage more efficiently just by using Storage Sense, and it's a simple way to do that. Another thing that you'll have access to is Wi-Fi Sense. Wi-Fi Sense, essentially the same thing as Storage Sense, only that you get to manage your Wi-Fi more easily. You're able to watch out for how much your data cap is, how much you've used in terms of data. Right now let's take a look. Right now I am not using any Wi-Fi, so I couldn't really show you. But if you were using Wi-Fi and you went to Storage Sense under the PC settings, you would be able to simply go to Wi-Fi Sense, and then you can see how many gigabytes or how many megabytes, basically how many bytes you're using in terms of data, in case you're on a metered connection. That way you don't go over the limit and have to pay extra. So that's a cool thing. You know how these day and ages, companies are trying to charge extra just for extra gigabytes of internet, which is pretty terrible, but that's what are we going to do. Like I said, another thing you're going to be able to notice is that there's support for up to 8K displays. So if you're one of those people that have like a man cave or a woman cave, and you have two 4K displays, you can put them side by side and plug it into your computer. You can go up to 8K total, or eventually, if you can afford it, and when it comes out, you can get an 8K display, whatever that's going to be like. And Windows will be able to support it easily, very natively. So 8K will support it. Right now we only go up to 4K because pretty much that's all that's out right now, but 8K is coming very soon. It's going to be super expensive, but it'll support it, so it's future proofed in that term. It'll have better DPI scaling. So I don't know about you, if you've been one of the people that has a Surface Pro, the original one, and you've seen the icons being very, very, very small. They're even smaller than this, and it's really hard to get to. Or all the settings on, say, Photoshop or Illustrator are very tiny. That's because the DPI scaling is not very good on the current version of Windows, being Windows 8. So hopefully in Windows 9, they're expecting that there'll be better DPI scaling. That way things will fit on the screen properly, and you'll be able to see it easier without having to tweak and do all this extra stuff that I even haven't been able to figure out. Another thing you'll be able to do is virtual desktop. So let's take a look at an image of virtual desktop, see if I can find one. So this is virtual desktop right here. If you click this icon here at the bottom on the taskbar, you'll be able to see this pop up here. And when you click add a desktop, it'll be similar to how Mac OS X has their virtual desktop, but Windows will have its own style. So you'll be able to have multiple desktops running different applications that show different applications on the screen at the same time. So it's a cool thing you'll be able to do, and that way maybe there'll probably be a gesture, most likely, that you can swap between different desktops very easily, or you could just click this icon and drop into different desktops. So say if you have a game running on one desktop, and then you have your Word on another desktop, and say if you're browsing the internet on another one, you'll be able to do all of that at the same time. So it's cool if you have, say, one display and you don't feel like buying multiple and you just want to have access to different things, or if you use one computer that you take to work, school, and at home, you can even associate 3 different desktops to each of those different activities. So you can choose home, work, and school, and just separate different applications based on those preferences. So it's a cool thing that you'll be able to do. And these are just some little things that how it's going to look like. These are, of course, this is still in preview. Internet Explorer 12 will not be coming in this preview version, but in the near future, it will be coming out to test. So expect that before the RTM version comes out. But aside from that, that's pretty much it for Windows Threshold for now. There's not much to see because all of this has not been officially announced by Microsoft until today at about 1 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's, 10 a.m. Pacific. All of this will not be announced until Microsoft says it verbally. But of course, most of this seems like it's pretty legitimate. Again, this has just been a rumor roundup for Windows 9 Threshold's technical preview. Expect more news about Windows 9 Threshold pretty much today. Today is September 30th, and that's when the event is. So expect more news from this channel about Windows 9 Threshold very, very, very soon. My name is Quaker for Next Gen Windows, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.